We're live.
Right. We're live. Sambone, how you feeling?
Good.
You need a drink?
I'm good.
All right. Welcome back to the Arabian Table Tennis Podcast.
Yeah. You work tech support AT&T.
We just lost all of our viewers right there. All four of them. Oh, man. All right. So I'll start with asking what everybody's been up to. Kind of round table. So I'm Taylor Carney, the Redneck Outdoor Channel. As you boys can probably smell, I just got done skinning a skunk.
We can smell it.
So, oh, shoot. Dylan, what you been up to?
Not a lot. I helped you skin a skunk a while ago, so now I probably smell like a skunk too.
You mean watched me skin one?
I did watch you. Yeah, I did. I played
Every job
cameraman.
needs a supervisor, doesn't it?
I played cameraman for a little bit.
Yeah.
We're waiting on some skunk tacos.
Well, he wouldn't let us cook it. He threw that out in the woods. So.
I thought about, hey, we did talk about how tender a skunk would
It
be.
had
though,
a good
huh?
fat back on it. You could have used that instead of vegetable, you know.
Yeah, so you know when you're skinning a coon or a deer or whatever you're skinning, and you grab the hide and pull down, like peeling a sock, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get past the tail and you strip the tail and stuff on a skunk, and you go to peel, and you can pretty much go down to the head. Like, they're tender. A skunk is tender. I guarantee they got some tender meat. They just don't have a whole lot of meat on them.
That's right. It'd take 27 of them to feed a small family, would it?
It probably would, yeah. Derek, how's the old armadillo war you've been having?
Man, it's been great. I only seen one today, and he was on the neighbor. But to add the 16 friends of his that I've killed in the last week, the armadillo killing's been pretty good.
Actual count, how many have you got?
16.
16, that's the actual
16
count.
in less than a week. In one day, I killed 6 and seen 8.
On how many acres you're on?
60.
60 acres.
Which the spot I'm killing them on is 30, but yeah.
Okay. Get the old calculator out real quick. The spot you're killing them on is 30.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty easy math right there. That's about 2 per acre.
Pretty close.
A little over 2 per acre.
A little under 2 per acre, but
In less than a week, you got 16 armadillos.
yeah.
That's a war, I guess.
So I guess if y'all are looking to buy armadillos, I'm your guy.
He is making armadillo
Yeah,
helmets.
you need to build some helmets.
Yeah. I actually, day before yesterday, had 4 big old eagles sitting down on them, eating them.
Yeah.
One, he was sure enough the boss, you know. He had a white head and everything else. The others, they were kind of virgin, you know, kind of.
A little younger.
Yeah, younger. And,
They still had the mane going,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
He didn't have a lick of hair
yeah, he
on
kind of had a
him.
mullet. That's kind of what they had. They had a mullet. you know.
Redneck eagle.
Yeah, America. That's what I was thinking looking at America. Like America bird.
But that one big bald sucker.
That one big bald eagle come up. I was looking and I was saying, Trump 2024. Just like that.
Well, we don't want to get into politics.
No.
You know.
I could just hear freedom ringing though. I couldn't help it.
National anthem was playing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Cody, what you been up to? You got the old hot rod going?
No, I don't.
Not yet.
Not yet.
What you like?
Piddly stuff.
Yeah.
A bunch of it. Paint.
That ain't
Motor.
piddly.
Transmission.
No, all that'll happen about a week before a race.
Yeah. And it'll still be gray primer.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Probably. Yeah. We'll see.
We'll
See what I get into. I got a hat now, so I got to start participating more.
Yeah. That's fine. We get some shirts coming too, I think. But
Yeah.
Sambone?
Oh, I got just done with school and we just head here.
Oh yeah. Just got done school and headed here.
Nice. Smells like a skunk.
Smells like skunk. It looks like a possum.
He probably went under and got out of the tree and put it in Cody's truck.
Wouldn't surprise me.
He's out there.
Not yet. Not still young, isn't it?
I don't know if you can reach her.
Did y'all get the picture of a can koozies?
Yeah,
The
the
squirrels.
squirrel koozies.
Yep. We need some of them.
You know, we're gonna have to get some squirrels, but it's a good idea. I think they're gonna have to be reds. Looking at that gray there, that might be big enough for a slim can like this here. But I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know if it's gonna go on your regular can, will it?
Yeah.
Even the reds are going to cut it close with slim can, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
It'd be cool though, have no squirrel tail hanging off.
Yeah, I know we could do some coonsies. So
I've
coontails.
never thought about that. A coonsy.
Yeah.
I like it. There's probably a market for them.
It's probably already being produced. And if it ain't now that we said it, it will. One of our 4 viewers knows how to sew.
Now you just got to get a coon pecker can opener to go with them.
Just attach it.
Well,
Attach it to the coonsy.
I didn't want to say this. I know we kind of lie pretty heavy on the redneck thing here, but I got some coon peckers outside out there during a rabbit hut. They're rotting right now, so
Squirrels trying to break in again.
apparently the squirrels are after us.
Speaking of squirrels, when's the Derby?
I don't know. We're gonna have to.
Oh, he's on it again.
Firefighter stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes. Tax season. Now I don't care. We'll have to go someday here. It's gonna be. It's just been tough to find a day that everybody can get in on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. But I don't know. Anyhow, you heard anything about Oklahoma going to release some CWD deer? CWD resistant deer. They're farm raised deer, and this come about like last year, but they're talking about releasing these farm raised deer that have a gene that makes them resistant to CWD, and turn them loose on private lands throughout Oklahoma. It says February 1 of 2026. It's in motion where they're supposed to be starting to release them February of 2026. This is an article that was wrote sometime last year that I was reading on.
So Taylor, I think first we need to kind of address what the CWD is. I mean,
Right.
we probably know what it is, and because we've done a little research, but I know there's going to be viewers that aren't going to know what CWD is.
I got an idea of what it is. It's a disease. It's chronic wasting disease. Now, I was calling it chronic waste disease for a few years, but I guess it's chronic wasting disease. And basically, it's a neuro disease thing. I'd have to look up the exact definition of it. But it says that it's always fatal to the deer once they contract it, and they get it from other deer through where they're eating at.
Is that the one that's nose-to-nose contact?
Nose-to-nose contact. If they're eating on the same corn pile, then they can contract the virus, disease, and it supposedly is always fatal. But if you look up how long it takes to be fatal, it says that it is dependent upon how resistant the deer is. And it says that it can be anywhere from 18 months to 2 years. But there's also deer that are resistant to it that I'm assuming can get it, but it's not fatal to them. So it doesn't make sense of how it's always fatal.
Can those deer spread it?
Yeah,
I would assume they can carry it.
Yeah.
The deer that they're talking about releasing.
So almost like they have antibodies built up where they can per se carry it, but it doesn't affect them. I mean,
That's what I'm getting from it, and it doesn't say that nowhere does it say that these deer cannot get it at all. It just says they're resistant to it. They've done some tests and stuff, and they've been around it, and they haven't contracted it. So they believe them to have a higher tolerance, essentially. They act like it's more foolproof than that, but I don't think it's for certain at all. Which you see all these videos of deer walking circles and they act like they're dying, and it look like a zombie deer, and they're like on the edge of the creek walking circles and stuff, and that's EHD. Which EHD is epizootic hemorrhagic disease, and it comes from a biting fly, a midge they call it. You always hear it called a midge. It's just a gnat that bites them, and it makes them go crazy, and they die within 1 to 3 days of contracting it. It's like almost instantly kills them. But you see these videos of these deer walking circles, and everybody says, "Oh, it's CWD deer." Well, that's not the case. It's not the case at all. Almost 9 times out of 10, that's an EHD deer, and the videos are calling it a CWD deer, and I don't think that's at all the case. It says it takes a couple years for one to die. So is it that big of a problem if it takes a couple years for one to die?
Most our deer don't make it much past that.
That's what I'm saying. Because your bigger bucks and stuff, they're not around the other deer as much. If he's already a few years old, he's not hanging around the other deer. He's less likely to contract it because it's nose-to-nose contact, except for during the rut. That's the only time that he's up in everybody's grill.
Yeah.
The rest of the year, 11 months out of the year, he's tending to himself. And if it takes him 2 years to die, unless he's getting it as a yearling or sooner, if a 3-year-old buck gets it, he's going to die at 5. Well, he was going to die at 5 by that time, more than likely anyhow. That's when we're shooting him.
Well, and I just wonder if the ones that are less or more resistant of it, if they can pass it on to their young. So if a doe is more resistant to getting it, if she'll pass it to her fawn.
So whether or not it's a genetic trait that's going to be carried on, or if it's just by chance that she's resistant of it.
Yeah.
Never thought of that either.
Because of the milk.
Maybe she's resistant of it because of her diet or just the way her lifestyle. Every deer is different.
The way the study was done that from Texas A&M, that's where they got all this stuff to release these deer. Was some scientist down there. I think his last name was C-Body or something like that. I can look him up later, but
G-Body.
Something. I don't know. But anyway, he said he could predict with 80% accuracy or more which deer were going to have CWD and which weren't based on their genetic code. And they were changing genes for the fawns before they were born or whatever. However they do all that stuff. And then that's the ones that they're going to release as the ones that are genetically altered, so that they don't catch CWD. But I don't think it's that big a problem to be worried about anyway, because if you do that, it takes us out of the record books. Because Boone and Crockett, Pope and Young, you can't enter any kind of fence-raised deer.
That's my worry is that.
And since 1990, there's only been 3 or 4 cases of CWD even recorded in the state of Oklahoma.
It's all much farther north, right?
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing it's any kind of a new problem. Like, it's probably been around for who knows how long.
Yep.
I think they
It's
first
gonna go
started
on its
testing
spells
for it
and-
in like the 60s.
1990 is when Oklahoma first started testing for it.
I mean, yeah, not Oklahoma. I mean, up north, I think
Yeah.
they first started testing in the 60s. I could be wrong. But if it affects the record books, are they testing each deer that's killed to see if whether or not it has one of these farm-raised genes? They're keeping a pedigree on all the wild deer that... Because these deer are getting released on private lands and stuff. Which, if you look at right now, it looks like the CWD, what tiny little bit that they think the state has or what have you, is western Oklahoma. Because if you were in Woodward and what have you, which is way out in Armpit, Oklahoma, this previous year, you had to have your deer tested for CWD. Each deer that was shot. It was on the Outdoor Oklahoma app. It was showing that when you check a deer in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if another thing, whether or not it takes us out of the record books or not, if you take and release these farm raised deer, if you released them in Beaver River, it's way out in the Panhandle. We're way over on the east side. We're half hour from Arkansas. If you released them way over on the west side of the state, 4 or 5 hours away from us, several hundred miles, it's still going to tarnish our reputation too. If they release these deer, then you shoot this nice buck. We're several hundred miles away, and you shoot a nice buck and post it on Facebook and say, "Oh, I killed this deer." Northeast Oklahoma. People are going to be like, "Oh, Oklahoma, that's one of them farm deer they released."
They just release all them farm deer. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it has anything to do with it or not. I could see it hurting reputation.
Another thing, the guys that want to participate in it, the private landowners, it's going to cost them anywhere from $500 to $1,500 for a permit for them to release the genetic deer on there. And hate to get in politics, but the whole reason the bill came about was there was a senator, I think his name, or representative, Kevin Lawson, I believe is his name, is the one that pushed for all this. He owns a deer farm.
He wants to sell his deer.
He wants to sell his deer.
Well, for large landowners and stuff, typical, $500, $1,500. That's nothing.
That's nothing.
Essentially, it's like that you might spend that in food plots and tree stands and stuff if you want to sure have big bucks.
Well, I grow big bucks so I can buy them and say it's for the herd.
Yeah, it's for the health of the herd. And what you can't find anywhere, nowhere, I cannot find the number of CWD deer deaths. If you search how many deer have died from CWD, it will show, it pulls up the same thing. CWD is always fatal. But you can't find an estimate or nothing. You can't find anybody ever saying that, there's been 100,000 deer died of CWD, or there's been 10. You can't see that. There's deer that have been shot and have CWD positive cases, or hit by a car and CWD positive, but I can't find anywhere on Google myself. Anyways, my searching, I can't find anywhere that says that how many are estimated to have died by it.
So, do you know how they test for it? Is it blood test or is it? Do you know?
I'm assuming so.
I think it's a swab, isn't it?
Swab.
It's a swab of some sort they have to
You
do.
can find it. I think because it's brain, it's their swab. They're taking brain matter or something. Somehow.
Yeah.
But I'm not no scientist, but
I just wondered how they were testing for it.
it's private land only, which they're talking about releasing it on, which is kind of counterintuitive because CWD can only be spread on public land. Just look at the regs. It says in the regs that you cannot dump corn, no grain-based products on public lands. It says that's because of CWD. They don't want to spread CWD, but you can dump it on private land though. So it says, that's blatantly right there in the regs that, roundabout way of saying that CWD only spreads on public land, and they're wanting to release these deer on private land. So maybe that's just me griping about how the regs are unfair, but
The Kevin Lawson, that guy, the way he did that whole thing, the actual deer part was under a whole bunch of feral swine projects or something like that. And the biologists that were reviewing it went over it and made it more clear that that's what he was doing. He was pushing a bunch of stuff for the deer farms and stuff. And it's like a $1.5 billion operation or something like that if it goes through for all these deer farms.
so it's a whole big political thing.
It's a big political thing.
Obviously, I'm for the deer health. If CWD is killing deer, then we have a way to keep from the deer dying from it. But you'd think if they're getting wiped out, like the big EHD things, 2012, all them deer die of VHD. And they can show you numbers on that, on how many deer are estimated to have died in each county, which, like I said, you can't find on CWD.
Well, up at Uncle Rogers, they was just gone. They still ain't recovered.
Wiped them out.
Last year we hunted, 5 days?
Yeah.
Hard to see a deer, hardly.
Well,
They still ain't back.
Well, you would think that if they get wiped out by EHD like that, which to me EHD is the problem.
Yep.
It just destroys them. It's 1 to 3 days it takes them to die when they contract it. It died like that.
Yeah, 2012 we found a bunch of them in the river down there.
If that wipes them out, then why do they still have CWD in those areas? If it's contracted from deer to deer,
You'd think that would you'd about have to get rid of it.
in Rogers area there weren't deer. They're just gone.
They were gone, yeah.
In Nebraska, that's around Tecumseh, Nebraska, there weren't deer there.
There was 5 or 6 of us.
And we only got 2, me and you.
It's a long time ago. Hunted all weekend. I think I seen a fawn.
Yeah.
No one else seen a deer, And this went from the year before. It wasn't, you'd see 7 or 8 deer at least a piece.
Yeah.
Every set. There's just gobs of deer, and farmers wanted them killed. Kill every one of them. Yeah.
They're starting to make a comeback. Like Sammy's talking when we went last year, the year before, whenever it was, and we killed a couple. We seen deer.
Yeah, there was deer there. They're just
Not like it was in 2011, though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nowhere near it.
But you would think that with them being completely wiped out like that there'd be no CWD in that area because they got completely eradicated. So where did the CWD come from? It started back up or what?
I think it's been around a long time and it's not going nowhere. So I think.
Unless they release deer with a resistant gene. If they release deer with a resistant gene and that could get rid of it, then the biggest worry, what I've heard, is that it could potentially spread to humans. Right now, it's just cervids or whatever. I think that's what you call it. That's 4-chambered stomachs.
Gobs of them deer getting ate every year. And people ain't got the first clue they got anything going on with them.
There's an estimate of so many 100,000 people that have eaten CWD positive deer.
I bet it's more than that.
There's an estimate somewhere. I found that. I would be lying if I said the exact amount right now, but it's pretty high. And if it is, does it become like a trichinosis thing? Like,
That would be more of a problem, I think, than CWD, you would think.
I'm saying like trichinosis, like pigs and bears.
Yeah.
If you don't bring your meat up to temperature when you're cooking it.
Yep.
And you could be at risk of getting trichinosis.
You don't want dry meat.
I don't even know what trichinosis is, to be honest with you. I just always heard that.
It's a parasite that burrows into your muscle fibers and just stays with you.
What does it cost people? Say you get a bear with trichinosis and you cook him to 120 and you eat that sucker and you wind up with trichinosis.
The first week, I think it's like flu-like symptoms, body aches and everything.
Okay.
Then after that, you just have the aches and the pains.
Oh, I have that already.
So
Yeah.
We'll risk it. I might have trichinosis. My knees have been killing me.
You caught it at Ray Corporation.
I bet that's what drawed my hand up then. Trichinosis.
That's what it
Just
was.
where aches and pains
What
there.
happened?
Yeah.
Yep.
But if CWD become like a trichinosis, if CWD is in a deer, could you cook it to temperature and cook it out?
Yeah. You can cook bear to 165 and it's good to go.
I'm wondering if deer is the same way. Can you cook out CWD? It's not a parasite per se, I don't think, is it? I mean, it's a neurological thing. It's in the brain and
It's probably
my
just.
pay grade.
One thing about it, Cody sticks it in a brain pan, so there is no brain matter to be left.
I guarantee you, whatever CWD that doe had was gone.
Yeah, it's spread all over trees and
First ever bird case with it now.
yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I
Yeah.
wish them dad blessing seed ticks and stuff would get it then, so they'd leave me alone.
Hey, pull up that,
That list I had earlier.
yeah, he had a list pulled up a bit ago that interested the crap out of me. It was talking about Field and Stream, I think it was, article on the top big buck state, or top states to kill a big buck.
So it was the 12 best deer hunting states for big whitetails. Anybody got to guess what number 1 is? I'll guarantee it's wrong.
If I had to guess number 1, I'm throwing Iowa out. And if not Iowa,
Illinois.
Kansas. Illinois? Is that what you said?
I pick
And-
Kansas.
Okay. Mississippi is number 1 on Field and Stream.
That's what I said.
I wonder if that's where the term swamp donkey comes from.
I think it had to come somewhere down there in
I
South.
thought that come out of Cody's bedroom.
What's the second one?
I wonder, are they classifying that by like?
By the percentage of Boone and Crockett and Pope and Young deer that have been taken.
Never mind, that answers my question.
Is that really?
So
See,
I figured
'cause-
just like, if it like this is a stud of a buck for say that area. I figure they say, well, lots of people kill deer that size, so we're calling it number 1.
So let's see here.
Well,
Out of Mississippi, you had 48 typical Boone and Crockett and 47 non-typical Boone and Crockett. You had 654 Pope and Young deer out of Mississippi.
last year,
I couldn't
Whenever-
imagine that we don't do that here.
when was
Whenever the article was written, let's see when it was written.
okay? But let me ask you this though: how many people are entering their deer?
So it'll be 2023.
I've got me some Pope and Young deer that I've never entered.
Mm-hmm.
So Mississippi, they enter every one of them.
That's what it is.
Sounds like. The next on the list is Ohio. Ohio had 4,247 Pope and Young and 700 Boone and Crockett.
Dang,
And then number 3 is Kentucky.
sounds like they had way more though, huh?
Kentucky, 1,500 Pope and Young and 800 Boone and Crockett. This is the way they had it listed up. They said
I think
1,
it's
2, 3.
backwards.
It could be backwards.
Like number 12 might be.
Ohio's a big buck
What's the
state.
last one?
though.
Scroll
Let's
down.
go to the last one. Very, very far. Well, I'm assuming they got it in here backwards because guess what number 1 or number 12 is?
Iowa.
Kansas.
Oh.
It's backwards.
It's backwards.
See where Oklahoma's at in there. We got to be somewhere in the middle.
Now,
of
what
that.
if they're
We're probably
We
like
are.
20.
what if they're factoring in license availability?
That's what they were factoring into, I believe, when we read it earlier. Was they were factoring how easy it was to get a tag with the percentage of Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett.
Oh, they have to be.
So
Because, like, Kansas, you're not getting a tag every year anymore.
and Oklahoma was number 4 on the list.
Number 4.
We were after Kentucky, but ahead of Indiana.
Well, you're guaranteed to get a tag in Oklahoma. I don't care who you are. We got big deer, no doubt. There's ample nice
You
bucks.
can do once in a lifetime out. More than once, you got a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't even got to wait 30 years to draw it.
They have.
Cheap suckers.
We had 770 typical Pope and Young, 104 non-typical, and 300 Boone and Crockett in the 2023 season.
300 Boone and Crockett in the 2020 season.
2023.
Oh, 2023?
Yep.
300.
300.
That's a load, huh? How many Pope and Youngs you said?
800.
See, but that's what nobody's
It's nowhere
entering them.
near.
Nobody's entering them because how on earth could there be just barely twice as many 125-inch deer as 100 and well to get in the books 160, but a true Pope and Young or true Boone and Crockett's 170.
Rifle season alone, I'm sure blew that number out of water if they was all entered.
there's got to be gobs of 125-inch deer
And out
in the
of
thousands.
40,000 bucks in rifle season, I guarantee more than 800 of them was a Pope and Young buck.
Well, it's like that conversation we had at work the other day, though. How many old barns or sheds or something got 140, 150-inch deer just sitting in them that some old hunter guy just threw over there because, can't eat the horns. He's a good one, but can't eat them, throw them over in the corner.
Yeah, that conversation has been had about like a state record or even world record class deer. Some old guys got out in the shed somewhere.
Somebody in
And
overalls.
there's one guy always says, "Oh yeah, old so and so, he's got a giant out there," and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, cool." And really, he does. He's got a
Or he had
world class deer.
You go out there and the points are all ate off by rats and stuff. It's all
Yeah, that's probably more likely. Dad tells that story of that deer that your Uncle Darren shot as a nice buck at the time.
Yeah.
And he put it out in the shed, old dirt floor shed. And
Yeah, it's all 8-0.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty. I have a hard time believing that, but like I said, if it's taken into account tag availability and what have you.
tag availability, public land, and then the percentage of Boone and Crockett, Pope and Young deer.
That's the only way Oklahoma's in the top 4 big buck state is tag availability.
And I think we had more public land than a few of them other places on the list. We had 1.7 million acres, I think is what it said.
We have 1.7 million acres of public land.
That's what it said.
Where is it at?
Right there. It's over Prior Creek.
Okay, well, we do have a lot of management areas, but a lot of those aren't even open.
They're probably
It's
putting that
probably
into
not
there.
all available to hunt.
Yeah,
They
it's
probably counted
it's
it
public land, but it's not open to public hunting. A lot of that is.
No.
But I bet you they even counted campgrounds and all that stuff too. When they
But I
did
mean,
that.
there is a good amount of public land around. But
I just feel like so many other states have so much more. If you look at like,
I think we just lack the great big tracts of like national forests and stuff.
I think to every time my mind goes to public land, I think to Wyoming, and the statistic of Wyoming, 50% of the entire acreage of the state is public land,
Mm-hmm.
and that's unreal to me. And Alaska's up there too, I think. But that's unreal to me. Like, what would you say the percentage of Oklahoma's land is public? Probably 10, if that.
I don't think it'd be 10.
Think it's lower? I think so too. I'd say at the most 10.
You can Google it.
Google it. Give it a goggle. The old web search. Derek's like, what are these guys talking about? Public
Well,
land?
I mean, and Taylor, that's the thing, and I've told you before, it just blows my mind, the difference in how I hunt and you have hunted. Because I've hunted private land all my life, never stepped foot on a piece of public to deer hunt on. Now, I've coon hunted it, but never stepped foot on it to deer hunt it, where it's almost coin flip different for you. You've put more footsteps on public ground. You guys know of public ground that I don't know of, because that's where you've put meat on your table.
I would say thousands. I'd say in the thousands of miles that I've put on public ground on foot. What would you say, Code? I mean, every season I put well over 100 miles, and then shed season, I probably walk well over 100 miles shed hunting just the past few years, each year. I mean, it's just the honest truth. But you might have an 8 to 10 mile day shed hunting on a Saturday. Just go walk all day long.
100 miles a season is probably a little on the light side.
Probably so,
Truthfully,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, because 100
it
miles
ain't
just here in
uncommon to
Joplin.
be 2 or 3 miles in, and then you got to factor back out, and you might do it for days on end.
And you're zigzagging up and down. I mean,
And truthfully, we're walking 2 miles in, and we're not half a mile from a road. It's just that's the only place that you can access.
Access is getting worse and worse. It seems every
So
year.
it's not like it's huge tracts of land that we're walking a few miles in, and everybody says that they're packing in. Oh, I packed in 3 miles. No, okay, well, we really are. We set the Onyx tracker, and we're really, and you pack in 3 miles.
Worst case scenario, about anywhere I go, I can be out of there quick if I need to get out of there. Going across somebody, but emergency or what have you.
That's what I mean. It's not huge tracts of land. It's just this is the only spot that we can access the public, and we're walking around private, and we're kind of parallel on the road to get way up into where, where nobody else is at, which typically is always somebody there, whether they're boating in or coming from the private.
Yeah. It says about 4.9% of Oklahoma is public land.
That ain't very high.
That ain't too high.
4.9% of Oklahoma is public land. That don't sound near as good as 1.7 million or whatever acres you said.
Don't do good to sell tags if you put it that way.
Yeah, well, if you're wanting to look for an outfitter, you're looking for somewhere to go that somebody's got a tract of land and they've got some stands up and stuff, and what have you, and you're looking for a state that you can for sure get a tag, Oklahoma is the state. But if you're looking to go in DIY public land, you're liable to get a butt whooping.
You might try Missouri.
Yeah, you might not go somewhere
Sounds
else.
like a threat.
Yeah, I guarantee you run into me. I've already got some stands hung, but you best stay clear. Derek, what are you doing? Get your perspective on this. You put in all this effort on public. Okay. Set this stand up. You're like, man, I'm going to get me a hang on, some good steps, pack them in there. 1.5 miles. Pick this spot, scouted it out, good sign, liked the spot, great. Set your stand up. You come in, the weather's just right. All right, I'm going to hunt that old spot. And you come in on an afternoon, 1 o'clock or something, you're going to hunt that evening. Somebody in your stand. Public land. How you going about that?
Well, that, my friend, is when you need to carry a hatchet in your old backpack.
We are
And see-
recreating.
And see who can hit the ground first, the tree or the person.
Gonna look like the red fern grows out there.
Yeah.
He's swinging.
Yeah. Wide open, just wear that sun gun out.
I haven't been in that position. I won't hunt somebody else's stand. I'm not, if somebody's got a blind in this spot, I'm going, even bow hunting, I'm going at least out of sight.
Yeah.
I'm not hunting, which is public land. I'm not hunting somebody else's spot, but time and time again it happens. I had some deer cane dumped, and like I say, you're not allowed to bake any kind of grain-based product. It specifically says on our regs and public land you can use anything mineral-based is legal. It's just salt, sugars, stuff like that. So I dumped some deer cane out there. It's just salt's all it is, and camera on it and what have you. I come in and check on my camera one time, and this dude, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna say much about him, but it looked like the sun must have been real bright on his eyes, and he's about the complexion of Dylan there, and he's about 5'1", but he's in a climbing stand. I mean, the tree right next to my camera, and a climbing stand right above it. And he's got him a crossbow sitting there, and I come walking in there and like, well, what the heck, dude? And then at the same time I feel bad. I'm like, well, I ruined this guy's hunting. But then on the other side of me is, I'm pissed because, like, why would you do that? Well, I'm not going nowhere near somebody's camera. He's sitting right over top of mine.
There's multiple flags there too. You had your deer cane, camera, stand set up.
It was obvious. Deer cane's white.
Yeah.
And there's a little patch of snow right here. What the heck? You know, it's got all the leaves kicked back, and there's 3 kilos of Colombian Bam Bam on the ground. You
Yeah.
think he's seen that?
Maybe he really liked Lucky Charms. I don't know.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if somebody's gonna come in there, I'll go somewhere else. I've had some pretty successful hunts, but I was aggravated and went somewhere that I didn't want to go, and worked out for the better, you know. So
You talking about that Murphy buck, huh?
that one too, yeah. That was a pretty good one.
That's a nice buck.
But I already knew whenever people come, they always go this way. And I was like, well, crap. I was gonna go that way.
How long have we been going? I don't think Cody's got any audio.
Oh, I did too. I can see it. Kind of.
Well, and that that goes back to having more than one spot.
check.
Getting in there and putting that foot traffic down of finding more than one spot and, you know, looking it over, because I'm bad to hunt one spot, and you hear of things of like, oh, them deer pattern, you know, if you walk in at, you know, 5:40 every morning, at 5:40 they're still going to be, you know, laid up chewing their acorns and eating their victuals for the morning. And then, you know, if you're walking out at 9:38, at 9:40 they're going to be standing out there blowing and snorting and huffing around. Well, then, going back to successful hunts, I've got a stand that's hung there probably 5 years, and I probably need to check the straps on it, because I'll just monkey mo fat
Just
rear
get
end
in
right up
and
in that
jump.
thing. And, you know, and
They're loose.
I've had good success there the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, kill deer out of it every year, and I don't ever put anything in front of it. This year I'd look like I was drunk out there brush hogging some paths around it, just giving deer, you know, ways to walk, and killed 2 deer out of it this year.
Well, there's the deal, and that's a topic that's a whole nother topic. But there are those spots that, you know, especially during the rut, that year after year they're going to produce. Bucks are going to cruise through there. But there's other spots that
Your resident deer, they can pattern you pretty easy, I think. Especially
Yeah.
them old does. They don't really change their home range too much. I've been guilty of it. Even sitting on the ground by a tree, you know. We run into that this year. Had some deer coming in on us down there. And I can't no more than just barely see these things. I already had the camera pointed to them. So I zoom on in there. And they have us pegged. And as soon as she got it following the trail in there, she got right to where she would have had a clear sight of where we're sitting. And she's looking right at us.
she knew the
There's
gig.
not a chance that she's seen us, smelled us.
Right.
She comes in and looks at that tree, but you know, we've been hunting beside that tree for the last 5 or 6 years, pretty regular, you know.
Yeah. Now it's time to hunt in front of that tree.
Yeah.
Set it aside.
Get on the other side of it.
Yeah.
But it's just an easy spot that we can go to whenever we're short on time or what have you, you know, a couple hundred yards from the truck.
Right.
And we've got a lot of deer there too. Sam's missed several out of that spot.
Doe.
You missed a
A
bunch
doe.
at every spot.
Sammy, you ain't never missed a deer, have you?
How many do you think you've missed
How many inches of antler do you think you've missed, Sam?
this year?
I know of 200 for sure. Right off the top of my head, I can think of 200 inches.
This year I only missed like 2 that nice buck, and then after my dad killed that 9.8, like a couple months.
Oh, you missed another nice one right there in the same spot.
Yeah.
That
His
nice
muzzler.
buck, he
Yeah.
counts as 2 bucks.
He missed one that'd be about like that with muzzleloader.
Pope and Young, right about Pope and Young, probably.
Yeah, a little under, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
Poor Sammy. Tell you what, I'd have run Cody out of money by now after shooting a rifle. He's been tired of me shooting that thing. I'd have been like, you ain't gonna talk about me missing no more.
shooting at deer.
Yeah.
Shoot and shoot and shoot.
He's had
and
some
shoot.
mishaps.
He wears some rifles out.
You don't
Hey, that's
happen to
what
know where that line come from on his forehead there,
Well,
do
we
you?
He missed that in two.
Did you miss that? Oh, Tell us about that when you got scope nose there.
So we were hunting behind our house, and I can't really remember, but it was like, but I like had the gun like this, and then I
It
shot.
wasn't on your shoulder? Where was the stock at? It was under?
It was like kind of like
I had
that.
him set. He was 6. I had him set up in a chair in that blind behind the house with some blocks of wood under the chair to get it up to where he could see over the sides.
Well, I was
So
short
I had
back
the gun
then.
set up where he's kind of facing this way, planning on him shooting off his left side.
And it was about 2.
So rather than get it on his shoulder, he just kind of had his head down there and looked through the scope.
Huh.
Used the scope for a butt pad.
And then
And he missed him.
we
Did it
went to
hurt?
the house. Oh yeah, I think I like grabbed my face and started crying. And then
Well, you pretty much cry pretty regular, though, huh?
Hey, it's
Only
all
on
right.
days that end with Y.
Real men cry. You can tell them that.
and then me and my dad, we went to the hospital, and then I just had glued and any stitches.
They just glued it.
Yeah.
And that's what I told her. Told her they're just gonna glue it. It wasn't good enough. Gotta go to the hospital.
I got a scar underneath one of my eyes here. You can't really tell because old and fat and got these real baggy eyes now. But turkey hunting, my first turkey. I had a 20 gauge turkey load 3-inch.
That's what I got right now.
Those single shot. And me and Dad, we tromped around the woods forever. Nothing. We're going back to the truck. You know, turkey's done kicked our butt. It's time for Mountain Dew and a honey bun. And we're easing on back through there. And his hand, my daddy's got real big hands, big fingers, just grabs me, and I'm probably, 8 years old, just grabs my whole chest. So I'm stopped. Look up there, and there's 6 or 7 turkeys, and the truck is right behind the turkeys. So he's like,
Did you hit the
he's
truck?
like, sit down right here. So there's this big bush right here by us. And I eased around out front of the bush, and he hit a couple yelps on his little call. Dad, he wasn't much of no turkey caller, but he had a little pot call. He a couple yelps on it. Here them turkeys come. There's a bunch of jakes, but here they come. And I think it was 50 something steps with 20 gauge. I shot. But when I shot, because I just sat down at the end of that bush and I had that gun kind of like Sammy up underneath my arm, and I was up there on that bead. I hit that turkey one BB right above his beak. I kid you not, only BB in that whole turkey was right above his beak between his eyes. Folded him right over.
Oh, yeah.
But
He didn't flop?
oh, he was flopping. We did a couple stomp dances around him, looking like 2 white guys out there doing
So
a
where
rain
did the
dance.
scar come from?
The hammer on that shotgun come in and went right underneath my eyeball.
I was kind of thinking you was going to, you got the mirror on the truck, and then your dad put the scar there. But
And that same shotgun got this one here on my cheek too.
Because you went over there and gave him the old Cherokee stomp dance, you said, huh?
Yeah, we were stomping on him pretty good. He finally quit moving.
Yeah. Michael Waddell says can't stop the flop, but I guarantee you
Hey,
can.
You do a rain dance around one, you
You
can
get on
stop
top
it.
of him, he'll quit flopping there eventually there, huh?
Well, we was hunting ducks so one time. It was like -2, and ducks come in. By this time, my arms were too long for the shotgun because Dad had chopped the buttstock off on it. And I, boom, trying to shoot this old mallard, and that hammer goes right into my jaw. I could stick my tongue all the way through it at the time. And Dad's like, "Did it hurt?" I was like, "No, my face is so dang cold, I couldn't feel it. It's still numb. It was just a big swollen spot on there."
Did you ever learn how to shoot a shotgun?
Hey, I'm pretty good now. Pretty good now.
Shot my shotgun a couple of days ago.
Oh, yeah? You got her lined out ready for turkey season?
we went out and patterned her with extra full choke, and
It'd be a
it's
pond.
gonna be all right, I think.
And I'm using my bullets that I got for Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
What was it?
Shells or cartridges?
Shells.
You know the difference in shells and cartridges? A shell goes in a shotgun, and a cartridge goes in a pear tree. And a cartridge in a pear tree. You ever heard that song?
12 Days of Christmas.
Christmas classic.
That's a Jeff Foxworthy one there. I have to-
Willie's mama.
Yeah, Willie's mama. You seen Elvis in the last year? Yeah, at Billy's house in the bathtub. eating Fruit Loops, watching SpongeBob. I got tattooed on the inside of my lip. You never seen them, have you, Derek?
I guess
I can
Oh,
tell
you
by
gotta
the
watch
look on your face you've never heard of the Incomplete Deer Hunter.
You'll have to find it and watch it.
Oh,
Jeff
here we go.
Foxworthy, I can't think of that other guy's name, Billy.
I don't know, but he's just as funny as
Yeah.
Foxworthy on that stuff.
Jeff Foxworthy. William Williams Jr. the third. And Billiam Williams Jr. the first.
We got this caribou in there, and they're questioning him about shooting it with
Yeah.
a spotlight or
Interview.
something like that.
It was a deer with caribou antlers put on it.
White tail cape.
Into a big buck contest.
So they got him up to a lie detector. You see a deer with caribou antlers, I say two people look at a Horseshack test, see two different things. I see a deer with three main beams are flattenated quite a bit. His G2s are over 40 inches, and he's got a few sticker points. I said, sir, are you a little bit nervous? I am a little bit nervous. Well, what for? I dropped a crock pot on this big toe last week. I'm afraid I'm going to lose a nail. It's turning a nasty color. Nasty color.
He's got them all memorized, dude.
There's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's funny. That's my favorite thing. I've probably watched them a million times. I got them on DVD somewhere. I find them now. Got them on DVD. Amazon. We used to have them on VHS.
I've tried to find them on the streaming, what have you. I
You can't find them.
I got them on DVD. I ordered them a few years back because we used to have them on VHS, and
I ain't
at
got
some
nothing to play
point
DVD
lost
anymore.
them. But
I don't.
you on DVD? You ain't got no DVD player?
No, we got the new house with wheels and threw all the old crap away.
Upgrade to a double wide, and he's too good for DVD.
Yep.
That's back when he had low income. Now he's got that good middle income.
Yeah, shoot.
Lower income than I had. And more mouths a few.
Derek, you got a saying of the week for us?
Man, I don't. I think I'm gonna come up dry this week.
Taylor had a pretty good one in group chat the other day.
Oh yeah, you do. You said okay. Tell us both ends of it about the chicken and the Chihuahua. You got two different sayings here, and they go hand in hand. He's talking about how trustworthy Cody and Jared were.
So these guys was doing some fine work. I'm talking some real fine stuff, something you'd go to town and show off all your friends. And some comment got made about trusting them. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you, them two guys right there, if they told me they had a Chihuahua dog that we were at the fire station, they'd pull the fire station off its foundation, I'd go find a log chain and a harness. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then the
you
other
believe
was,
that's what you said.
Yeah.
They told you to pull that fire station down, and you believing that they're going to.
Yeah.
I thought it was something to do with chicken.
Well,
It's
that's
gonna-
when he told
I'm
me
fixing
it
to
come
unravel
from
chicken.
the other one.
So then I said something about Taylor, that if he told me he had a rooster that dipped snuff, I'd look under his wing for the can. Just some trustworthy people around here.
I got something for you. I'm thinking about starting a new segment. I don't know how y'all feel about positive and negative comments, but I'm thinking about sharing some negative and positive comments that we've got on the YouTube.
Oh, bring it on.
We like it?
I like it.
Cody
mouth bites
hates
at Chili's
negative
right
comments. Cody hates negative
I
comments.
don't read them.
I read them because I like the feeling I get. I get mad real quick, and then I get to think this guy's an idiot, and then I almost comment every time, and then I might comment something nice, and then I might just not comment, and I don't end up commenting.
Occasionally it just makes his whole liver quiver.
It make the whole liver quiver. Right? It gets me right in the vittles. And anyhow, here's one that got to me, and I thought about it, and I typed up a reply about 15 times before I end up not replying to it. And it's on a YouTube short that I posted the other day that I don't know how many thousand views it got. I know on the same video on TikTok got almost 400,000 views. But anyhow, I'm not trying to brag.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
The band
I dump a
rooster.
corn pile out, as one does. It's on Dad's land, Dad's corn pile, Dad's camera, and I went with him to help carry the bags of the corn and dump all this stuff out. Nobody ever killed a deer over the top of it. It was dumped strictly in front of this camera for an inventory on deer on private land. Anyhow, I take this video, you've seen it, I'm sure, the short of how I was asking why you don't see deer corn in deer poop.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
You've seen it, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was on
well,
They
YouTube.
must chew a little better.
they must chew it up better. That's what I thought too.
And I looked
Okay.
up the.
Well, here's the
Never thought about that.
Here's the comment that I got on it. This was 3 days ago, and I posted that video several months ago. Okay, but this guy here, I'm not going to read the name because I don't want to give him any,
Hate.
I don't want people to go comment negative things on my post just so we'll say it on the podcast. So I'm not going to say the negative
People
person's
just
names.
dying to get their name on this.
Hey, you telling me
We
that
died for
our
3 weeks to wear a hat.
are you telling
Longer than that.
Are you
Well,
telling
yeah,
me
you
that
know.
our fearless chief, old white hat, old Chief Richard, wouldn't make a fake account just to comment something negative so we'd say it on there?
That's probably who done it.
Could be. No.
He'll be watching this tomorrow.
Profile picture on this particular comment, Squidbillies. You ever heard of Squidbillies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, this ain't Jared. All right, he wouldn't tolerate that kind of nonsense. Okay, the comment says, zero respect for those with zero skill hunting other than corn on the ground. Have a nice day.
At least he was nice enough to tell you to have a nice day.
He said, have a nice day, although he said zero respect for those with zero skill hunting other than corn on the ground. And obviously, this guy doesn't know about the miles we put in on the public land and the 150s we put down, not on corn or any kind of bait. But I don't know. I got a rise out of it. I thought about commenting on there. Okay, let's see your big buck, buddy. Let's see. You don't know the difference in a scrape and a rub. But I didn't comment. I didn't comment on it.
Corn ain't magic. It ain't gonna bring them smart ones in, no matter where you dump it. So,
I would argue that it takes skill
to an extent,
to shoot one off a corn pile. You're talking about deer that are there. They know whether or not you're there. You still have to hunt the wind. You still, obviously you're increasing your odds of the buck being there.
it goes right back to being patterned, though. I mean, you can dump corn in a spot, the deer got you patterned. It don't matter. You might get the dumb ones out there.
I've never had a spot that I could legally dump corn. Myself, never had a tract of private land to hunt. And-
dump it behind the house right there on the 0.3 acre or whatever there is back there. But
Yeah. But this year is the first year we got a little piece of private, that we can hunt on. We dump some corn on it, But anyways, we'll share some positive comments too. We'll give us a shout out here. We'll get Derek another 4 subscribers because hold on a second. Let me find it. Here we go. I posted a video just a couple days ago. I found me a nice arrowhead running some traps, and I posted a short on YouTube. And Derek Stokes from Stoked Living. That's a YouTube channel if y'all are into homestead and Stoked Living. That's your guy. He's on there. And hopefully here pretty quick, old Derek Compton from Compton Country Living. He'll have another one. But anyhow, Derek Stokes from Stoked Living YouTube channel. Awesome find. You Carney boys sure know how to find the arrowheads. So Cody here and his old man Jody, they have found hundreds of them. They found a lot.
But
They got
Derek,
good
God,
eyes.
he's so far up there, it's probably hard for him to see way down there.
Here's my reply to Derek. we're a little closer to the ground than you Stokes boys.
Yeah.
Me and
That's no lie.
Cody's a little he's a little above average height, but
They still tower over me.
me and Dad and Jody and we're
I mean, every time
Short
I look
guys.
at him, I'm like, man, you're way the heck up there.
stoked to live, and them Stokes boys, they got some size to them. There's some big boys.
How big a boy are you?
Good stature, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Just tall. Just
Yeah. I mean, look at the feet on them things.
sure enough, men.
Foundation.
Sure enough, men. Well, Cody, he's got him a 14 wide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You couldn't push him over for Dozer. Speaking of Dozer, did you get my picture I made of Dylan?
You did, because you sent it to me.
I found it on Facebook.
Oh, I'm gonna put this picture up. This thing is going live. There's gonna be 4 people commenting on this.
I got a meme today. I did. He's sleeping.
Few dozing service. We specialize in dozing and sawing logs. It's Dylan sleeping at work.
100%.
He wasn't sleeping at
You're gonna
work.
get him fired.
It was on break.
It was on the break. It was
Dude,
in the
I'm
break
telling
room.
you right now, sleeping's a funny thing, especially hunting trips and stuff. But Dylan, he's a guy that if there's 5 minutes of rest time, he's gonna get 4 minutes of sleep. He's gonna go ahead and get 4 minutes. I've never seen anything like it. I've been sitting there talking to the guy and him say a few words and it's my turn to talk and he's out. Now I ramble, but I'm telling you, he can just be out. I've seen him sitting there sleeping, eyes plumb closed, waving my hand in front of his face, and he's still scrolling Facebook. The thumb is still going. He's still scrolling. I'm telling you, I've got loads of videos of him on there. I've never seen anything like it.
Hey, the guy that taught me how to turkey hunt taught me how to nap as well. And we'd be out there all day. You'd spend 14, 16, 18 hours outside in the woods. And if you were going to rest, is when he's sitting next to the tree. So you better get you some rest.
I can't do it. I don't know.
I don't sleep in the woods.
The doctor told me I've got HD, and you guys need to go get checked out because it comes on you fast. Because I didn't even know what happened, and all of a sudden got 80 HD levels. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if 80 is a lot or not, but you guys need to go
He
get
got
checked
this
out.
color spectrum, and I think he's on it.
That ain't no joke.
Well, colorblind's a whole different deal, but and then Derek Stokes from Stoke to Living. We're talking about there. We've been on some hunting trips with him, and you talk about sawing logs.
Oh, man.
That's a guy that can snore right there. Don't be tearing up my chair now. I'm coming from Mama's house.
So we get his own motel room or something, and me and Taylor should be laying there watching infomercials all night because you can't sleep.
We're
Derek's
on,
rattling the curtains.
we're on one roach motel, and
Oh, that's a
you
bad one.
you only slept when the window unit was going. That was it, because as soon as that window unit would kick off, the snoring was just too loud. It just keep you up.
And about 2 in the morning, there ain't nothing to watch. Infomercials.
And Adam and Eve infomercial, to be exact. We're not going to get too in detail about what we were watching, but I roll over and Cody's sitting up eating popcorn at 2 in the morning watching that Adam and Eve infomercial. I figured he'd get ready
Interesting
to...
hunting trips.
Interesting hunting trip.
I'm serious, and I thought he was going to order him a wet wabbit. He didn't. I was like, what the heck is this? I had some stuff I never heard of before, and Derek's like, I'm serious.
So if you go hunting with them, sleep
Yeah.
with your back against the wall. Right?
Well, and I'll do you one better. Cody had him a nice camper, okay? And we're always into tents. We pulled the camper to Nebraska hunting trip, all right? And we get up in the morning, and Jody, Cody's dad, he said, "Who the heck was yelling last night about 1 in the morning, just screaming the F word as loud as they can?" And Cody, straight face, calm as can be, said, "Oh, it's Taylor. Just something he does." And I thought to myself, he does. How often have I been yelling at night? I've never heard this. How often have I been yelling at night for Cody to say, it's just something he does?
Well, it's probably that same year at deer camp you done the same deal about 4 in the morning. I was halfway out of the tent, the gun loaded before you was aggravated that I woke you up.
I remember that one 'cause Cody came over my tent, shining a flashlight in there. He was like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, I was sleeping. What the heck are you doing?" He's like, "Well, you're screaming and yelling." I do remember
I
that.
thought he done had coons in his sleeping bag or something.
I don't ever remember it though. I don't ever remember any time. But Cody says I yell all the time.
They hear you across the lake on that. And
Because May says I'll do it. I'll tell you a story. I'd like to have her on here telling it because I'm just telling you what she told me I'd done. But she told me I'm standing on my pillow, and she was trying to pull me back down in bed. She said I'm standing on my pillow, grabbing the ceiling, and she's like, "What are you doing? Get back down here!" And I kept saying, "It's falling on us. It's going to fall on us." And she said, "Just know you're in bed. Just lay down." I said, "Well, it's going to fall on you." And she said, "Don't worry about it. Just get down here." I don't know what was falling on us.
The roof, apparently.
The ceiling was because I was holding the ceiling up.
Chicken Little, the sky's falling.
But it takes me a while to fall asleep, though.
Not me.
I would, Dylan. Unless.
Oh, I know. I've seen you sleep. I don't think I've ever sat with Sammy in the woods that he wasn't sleeping.
if that's half a way, he can't shoot. Sometimes I wonder if he ever woke up.
Sleep shooting.
I asked you. You hit him and Sammy, and it's like, get your gun ready. Huh? Get your gun ready. What? Get your gun ready. Huh? I'm like, there's a deer coming out. There's a deer standing right there. Grab your gun. Point your gun over there. It's hard to get Sammy to. I think it's a matter of getting him woke up's the problem.
Yep.
Cody must work him too hard at home.
That's what it is, yeah. I just can't fall asleep in the woods hardly. I'm dog tired. I've been hunting all week if I'm falling asleep in the woods.
Well, that time we went turkey hunting, I had a little bit of siesta there underneath that cedar tree. Always waiting on that old gobbler.
Yeah, and it was like that too. I'm sitting over there, and Dylan's doing the calling. He's got a diaphragm call and a box call, and he's working them both at the same time. I'm thinking, this is magic. I ain't never heard this before. And then all of a sudden, it's like the chirping starts, kind of going downhill, and I look over and he's sleeping.
He wasn't responding. This time taking a nap now, boy.
Wait 15, 20 minutes, we'll try again.
I think we heard one gobble that time, didn't we?
Single gobble, that's it.
We gave up. We walked a long ways in there, and Dylan's panting. I'm dragging Dylan along.
So we just crossed the road into the ditch from the truck. I'm already panting.
We was a couple miles. We was a ways in there, and Dylan's panting, and we're like, well, they just ain't here. We'll just head back. And we had no more than just decided we're done. We'll head back to the truck. They ain't in here. And then heard one off in the distance. And we went, well, let's set up on him and went about where we thought he was at and did some calling and napping.
He was not there.
He wasn't there. We went the wrong way, huh?
I think he kept going. I think he probably sounded off and kept going.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was on the edge as far as we could go on that property, that direction. So,
not incriminating or nothing, but we may or may not have explored the other side of the fence as well.
Hey, that fence is well on this side where we were at there. There's a fence that cuts through, and the map, the core land map and the Onyx both show this dog leg right here, and that fence goes straight across. And we're on that dog leg. So according to the core map and the Onyx map, we were still on the public, but we had to cross the fence to get on that public. But it ain't accurate to the fence line is not accurate to the edge of the property, and there's a lot of spots that I know like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those are private land pieces that people are wanting to.
Nobody surveys any of that stuff, and
Yeah.
But turkey season, property lines are just suggestions at that point.
Is that right?
There's one goblin on the other side of the fence. You might want to get on the other side of the fence.
Who was it? You said it was an uncle or something that.
Yeah, that same guy I was talking about took me turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he He didn't believe in property lines.
Well, we had Dad on last week, and he'd tell you there wasn't property lines when he was a kid.
Well, when I was
Wasn't
the
no
kid, there
property line.
was, but there wasn't. So if there's a turkey gobbling, you just had to find somewhere to park a truck on private land, and then you'd hunt whoever private land touched that private land you parked on.
I'm gonna hunt this vicinity. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna hunt on your place. I'm gonna hunt this
I'm gonna
vicinity.
go hunt over here.
Yeah.
The birds are public.
Yeah, natural resource. Might as well get to use it.
Yeah. Well, boys, we got a lot more trapping left. Another month or so here. Like I said, the whole yard smells like skunk right now, so I'm about to catch me some skunk. And Shirley and sheds are starting to fall. This is where I'm at for the year. These 3 here. They're obviously all old ones. I found this one a couple days ago.
I don't know. That
Should've
one probably
found
fell
him
off
last year.
CWD deer, I
Year
bet.
before.
Yeah, at least the year before, huh?
Yeah, I think he was chronically wasted.
Or he's chronically wasting at least. He's got something going. But I still ain't found a fresh one yet this year, but coming into February, they're bound to be dropping.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get Derek out there searching for them. He says he ain't really done a whole lot of looking for them in his day.
I rode no gray mule last year and found one. His
Yeah.
dadgum small couldn't even tie it on the saddle strings. It was a bad deal.
We
Is it-
rode all over Spavinal, 22.5 miles, I think is what it was. Didn't see a shed one. We was following hog dogs around. Looked like a man from Snowy River and some stuff was going off and chasing them dogs, but
Boys, I can do a whole podcast on shed hunting.
we didn't
no
see a
doubt.
single one. I was looking too. I was way in the back. Everybody else running off chasing dogs. I'm looking for sheds, boys.
Were you on a burrow?
I was not on a burrow. The hills were too tall for the burrow. He stayed in the truck.
Yeah.
He's on an electric bike. Is what he was on.
Oh,
The
boy.
Shetland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, shed hunting, and then turkey season's coming up, so that'll be good.
And I think I'm going to take part in both of them.
Catfish,
go.
race cars.
Catfish and race
morels.
cars. Speaking of that,
Oh,
I've got
man.
to order some car parts ASAP as possible.
Bow shoots. Got
Bow shoots.
coming up.
March 1st. What is that right?
March 1st.
Okay, March 1st, we're going to be in Canadian.
Canadian, Oklahoma.
Hopefully, as many of us
People
can
think
go.
you jump 2 borders.
They might. They're familiar with me down there.
Canadian, Oklahoma, and that's down by
Eufaula.
Eufaula.
It's on Lake Eufaula,
Lake
Arrowhead
Eufaula.
State Park.
Arrowhead Steak. We're going to hopefully we get some steak
That sounds
or
pretty good.
Hey.
Steak park.
yeah or
Yeah.
I know
have
some
those.
good Mexican places.
hey,
down
I'm
there.
down for Chiripollo Park if that's I guarantee you. Arrowhead State Park, we're gonna- March 1st. That'll be the first bow shoot unless Odd Vein Out throws one up or something. But that one there, that Arrowhead, that's a shot 3D experience. We're gonna be down there shooting some bows. So
And then we're going to get done with that and teach Derek how to turkey hunt.
teach Derek how to turkey hunt. Derek, you ever kill turkey?
Never even hunted a turkey.
Never even hunted one.
You know, back in the day when I was probably this boy's age, I could actually talk to no turkey.
I'm pretty
I-
sure you can
I
talk to anything.
I
there.
could yelp, make one get down with a get down clown and talk back to me.
Huh. Sammy can gobble real good.
Let's hear it. Cut loose for me.
Come on,
Come
gobble.
on, do it.
Come on, gobble. Chicken, Come on, gobble. I'll give you my best gobble.
He speaks several
Right
different
before we
kind of
sign
gobbles.
off here. We hit a 30-minute mark on there.
Oh crap!
You missed all the good stuff.
I've been watching it. It was just a second.
Well,
Right before we sign off here, Sam, I'll gobble for you. I'll step back away from the microphone too. You want it? I'll do mine if you do yours.
No.
Come on,
Yep, you
you
gotta do it.
chicken. All right, give me a good rooster crow then. I'll gobble for you. Ready? Gotta take the little hat off. You gotta go give it a little.
That's why you got off camera.
We got over. We're in Colorado elk hunting, and Cody's over there. He's got that call going real good, you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Calling them elk, and I'm over there. that ain't it. That ain't it. They don't do that. Oh, wrong species. You ain't gonna do it for us? Alright, well, I reckon we're about ready to call it then. We got a raccoon skin. Old Derek's got him a raccoon out there.
Raccoon and red.
We're gonna see if we can't de-dress it. Get it.
Skin his clothes off.
Take his
You gonna cook
pajamas off.
Well, we could, couldn't we?
Ooh. I have got to check on my meat in the smoker too.
That's still in there?
Yeah, this is
I
it.
thought
We
that
got.
was for lunch. You sent me that picture like 7 this
That's
morning.
for us. I've had it going. I've had it going all day. We've got a roast in there.
howdy,
Whole
the
shoulder I
belly's wrong.
smoked, and I've got to check on it ASAP.
Vittles are burnt
I
up.
hope it was cooking at about
Yeah.
130 degrees.
Granny Clampett love these vittles.
It's probably pretty dry at this point, boys. But all right, if you stuck around, tuned in, hope you enjoyed it. Leave us a comment. We'd like to know some
Positive, preferably.
topics. Well, I'm talking topics. You leave us a comment on something you want to hear about. You know, we'll give us our redneck 2
We'll butcher
cents.
it up.
Yeah, see if we can.
We'll veer off course real good.
And y'all tune back in right here at the Redneck Outdoor Channel or the Arabian Table Tennis Podcast, whatever you want to call it. Like and subscribe. We're out of here.
All right, then.